I had a paper in which I like had all this stuff written down on, and I turned it in to my professor. So that's gonna be fun. It's fine, really, it's fine. It's gonna be fine.
Hey Hatchlings, it's Dragonfeather, and welcome back to Witch to Watch, the series where I interview witches both new, up and coming, and our classic favorites to get to know a little bit more about them, their channel, and their practice. And for today, we have a special guest, Ashley Michelle, or Ashley Adulting here on YouTube, and she is one of my favorite witches in the online community and one that I regularly talk to and consider a friend. She not only helps produce Coffee Table Coven monthly magazines, which if you haven't checked those out, all of these links will be down below for you, but she's also a leading member in the Hatchling clan and UNICOVEN and Girl Gang Amino here, and she's just one of these witches who does the best and does the most fucking work for our community, and I am so excited to get to have her on the channel with you guys for this episode 4 of Witch to Watch, and I'm so excited to introduce you to Ashley Michelle. So without further ado, welcome Ashley Michelle.
Back to the channel. My name is Ashley Michelle. Thank you for being here if you're new, and thank you for returning if you are not. So that is my usual intro. Thank you very much, Azura, for allowing me this beautiful, exciting opportunity of being on Witch to Watch with you. I'm very excited and very grateful to be this month's interviewee. We're just gonna go through the questions and ba-bam.
With all those introductions out of the way, let's just jump on into the questions. So the first question we have is, what is your magical name, channel name, and what are the basics and focus of your craft? What type of witch do you identify as, and how long have you been practicing?
So I don't have a magical name that I go by. My channel is called Ashley Adulting because the basis of the channel was kind of just supposed to be me learning all the adulty things and going through the motions as I go through them and just kind of sharing my experience with other people. The focus wasn't supposed to be on witchcraft, but that's very quickly what the focus became. I'm pretty excited about that. I don't think that I would change my channel and its focus for anything. I really fell in love with the online witchy community that I got to participate in, and I'm excited to be here with you. I don't necessarily identify with any type of witchcraft. Sorry, my little baby. Most people, if we're gonna put me in a box, kind of like to put me in the green witch box. I love herbs, I love the earth, I love growing things, I love getting dirty, and it's a huge part of my craft. Like everything that I do involves plants or earth matter of some sort. So for me, the earth is really important. I really, to ground, have to go outside at some point. I have to be able to feel grass and feel the sun as much as I used to really not like the sun, but now I do. I have to be out in nature to really get in touch or in tune with anything. Green witch would probably be the closest thing I have to a official label, so to speak. I've been practicing on and off. I've been practicing for about 10 years, but really active practice I've only recently, in about the past 2-3 years, really gotten into. I started in high school. It was funny because I just recently talked to someone who asked the same question, and my response, I really liked my response, and it was kind of like an off the cuff thing. But I told them that I had been unintentionally practicing my entire life. So, and I really think that that holds true, especially for a lot of witches. I think that we are intuitively drawn towards our practice from very early on in life. I think that if you take the experiences of many witches, most witches that I know that there is a sort of pattern of them being, young children and researching this and this and this, and like there's almost like a checklist that you can go off of and look at so many different types of witches and say, oh, well, did you do this as a child, and did you do this, and did you do this? And 99.9% of the time they've done a grouping of those things since they were children. So I think particularly for me, how long have you been practicing question kind of comes into how long have you been actively practicing? Active practice, definitely the past 2 or 3 years has been active practice. But, even before that, it was very on and off. It wasn't a lot of spell work, but more ritual work. And even before that, I would say there was a lot of just unintentional witchcraft.
Question number 2 is, why did you start a witchy YouTube channel, and what are your top 5 favorite videos that you have created? These will also be linked down below for you if you are interested in checking out her favorite top 5 videos.
My top 5 favorite videos that I've done, this is kind of hard to narrow down. I didn't realize how many videos I actually had until I was looking at them. The first one that I do want to mention is definitely my favorite one. I think it's really the first one in which I kind of started opening up. It is the first one that I started opening up about my particular craft. And it was the What's Your Craft tag that I created with my beautiful witchy wife, Julie. That video got so much traction. That video was the most honest and like raw and real that I had kind of been. And up until that point, I was still really working through what it meant to be a witch and calling myself a witch. I was very self-conscious of using that word and that terminology, and I had a lot of shadows that I did not realize I was dealing with. And it was so beautiful to see the response from the video, and I think that might be why it's one of my favorite videos, because community is what I want to build around my channel, and that's what I really want to focus on. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to do 101 videos where people can, come and learn all they need to know in 5 minutes about a thing. I want to have long, in-depth conversations with people about the way that they feel they should do the thing, about the way their grandmother used to do the thing. I want to build a community, and I want to build conversation. And I think that this was the first conversation starter that I had had on my channel. And it was the first time that I met half of the amazing people that I talk with now on a daily basis. So it's definitely in my top 5 favorites. It's definitely one of my favorites. There's definitely no denying that. It's probably the favorite. I also love my video, Why I'm Not a Light Worker. It's part of my Sip and Spill series, which is kind of a series where I can talk about magical things, mundane things, whatever it is, whatever topic it is that doesn't necessarily fit into an informative infographic type of video. I can just sit and have a conversation. It goes into the Sip and Spill series. And so Sip and Spill was about why I don't identify as a light worker and what I identify as instead. And it wasn't so much about pinpointing definitions as it was, again, about starting a conversation. And it was me virtually reacting or responding to one of the other beautiful witchy women that are here on YouTube, Raquel, and she had gone into why she's not a light worker, why she chooses not to identify that way, even though she may have some checklist symptoms of a light worker, perhaps. And I think that the most important thing about that video is, again, it was based in a community, and it was based in a conversation, and it created more community and more conversation. I know plenty of people had VR'd to it, but then after I VR'd, plenty of other people started VRing again, and we continued the conversation. And that's really what I want to do with the core of my channel. I want to create conversation. I really think that that will be one of the biggest helps to the witchcraft community in destigmatizing witchcraft, in bringing to light witchcraft, in really just, I don't want to say mainstreaming it, because I don't necessarily want to mainstream witchcraft, but I do want to normalize the people who are practicing. I don't want people who are practicing to worry, you know, about their parents finding out, or their family finding out, or their job finding out, you know, like, it is a personal practice, and it should not be treated as something to become a pariah over. And I think that it's really important to have that discussion with as many people as you can, so that way we can get to this point where being a witch isn't something that someone maybe, you know, comments like, oh my God, go to a mental hospital. Like, chill out, man. Let everyone live their spiritual lives the way that they see fit. And I really want that conversation to flourish and to have a good grounding and a good foundation. Lessons that YouTube taught me is another of my favorite. It was kind of just a 30-minute conversation about what I had learned through the YouTube experience for my first full year of being on YouTube, how I'd learned to cope with certain things, how I'd learned to address certain things, how I felt about the experience in general, realizing and coming to the realization that I did want a conversation, and I didn't want to be an educator. And I think that that's super important, and because it's valid. Like, many people here on YouTube are fabulous educators, but that's not what I want to do with my time. I respect and love the educators in our community, but I want to bring about awareness, and I want to give people sparks of information and give them the inspiration to maybe teach someone else, or maybe just come to realizations on their own and come to their own happiness and consensus within themselves spiritually on what it is that they believe in, even if that's something that's completely different from me. I also did a collab with another YouTuber, and this one was What Tarot Taught Me, and I love tarot. And found it difficult to explain what tarot has taught me in just the time that I've been really studying it. And I enjoyed being able to share that experience and kind of see some different reactions from people, because I see tarot as an introspective tool, and other people see it as a predictive tool. And that's totally fine. Use tarot as you're going to use tarot, but for me, I use it in a very specific way. I use it to help my mental health. I use it to kind of keep my brain in check, because I do have mental illnesses, and sometimes my mental illness will tell me one thing, and I know that it's just my brain and the chemicals in my brain are leading me in this one direction. And so I use tarot as an introspective tool to say, is this truly the reasoning that I should go by? Is this truly what I want right now? Or maybe just following the chemicals in my brain, and maybe I should take a step back and kind of regroup, not necessarily take action based off of those current emotions and chemicals that are biologically happening. I found it to be a wonderful tool for this specifically. It's something that I want to talk about more on the channel. It's something that I really am passionate about. And so to see other people's responses as to how they use tarot and why they use tarot was wonderful. My final favorite was a video that I did for my Patreon. So when you become a patron of mine, you get a video request. And one of my favorite beautiful, delightful beings, Jessica, she asked me what my 3 favorite magical books were, or books that had magical elements in them. And I'd not really given it thought, compared it to real life magic, you know? And so it was really wonderful to like sit down and break that down and be like, oh, what is my favorite magical book and why, you know? And that one was just one of my favorites. It's lovely, it's cute, and I just adore it.
Question number 3 is, what does magic mean to you?
To me, magic is about connecting to every part of myself and about connecting to the world around me. And it's really as simple as that. I don't have a super wonky, convoluted idea of magic. I believe that it can be convoluted, but it's fairly simple for me in how I use it and what it means to me. It just means that I am connecting to the world around me and to myself as fully as possible.
Question number 4 is, how has magic and witchcraft changed your life in a positive way?
Definitely just everything. There isn't one way in which it's affected me beautifully. I think that it's shaped and molded who I am as a person beautifully. And I know that as a human, we are flawed and we are individual and we are complex and nuanced, but I think that witchcraft and magic has turned me into a much more introspective person. It's given me more to think about. It's made me question things in a way that doesn't have me afraid of questioning things, but excited to question them.
Question number 5 is, what is your favorite memory with magic and witchcraft?
My favorite memory with magic and witchcraft is probably just making the first batch of bath salts that I made for Coffee Table Coven. I think that was my favorite moment with witchcraft because I was putting my energy into this product that was going out to, you know, other witches who were gonna either accept my magic or not. And I think that it was a defining point for me in that I knew what I was doing felt magical to me, but was it gonna feel magical to other people? And to hear the response be like, yes, I feel your magic, I accept it and I value it, was really awesome. It was just amazing and beautiful, and it was kind of a validating moment for me because it was just like, oh, you get it, you feel it, and you know that it's real. And I know that it's real, but do you know it's real? And to have that resounding yes come back to me was just like, oh my God, it was exciting and it was wonderful. And I think that was definitely my favorite.
Question number 6 is, what are the magical tools and items that you use most in your craft?
Magical items or tools that I use most, definitely tarot, number 1. Probably number 2 would be my mortar and pestle. I use it in the kitchen, I use it in spellcraft, I use it in the bathroom, I use it for ritual, I use it for everything. And I really, you know, it was probably one of the most expensive things that I got. It was like $20. So for me, that was like expensive for this one thing that I wasn't exactly even sure how I was gonna use it. And I didn't even wind up using it for what I was originally intending to use it for. But I realized how versatile it was and I wound up using it every day. So, and I'm not the only one who uses it in my house. Like my boyfriend uses it. He uses it in the kitchen to cook, and I think that it brings this little bit of magic into everything that we do because it is so constant and it's such a presence. It's not even on my altar right now. Like right now it is literally in the kitchen because we just used it like 2 days ago. And I do love tarot. I don't use tarot as often as I'd like to. Definitely not as often as I use my mortar and pestle, but it is one of my favorites because of the introspection that it gives me, because of the, hold on, wait a second, let's look at this again and get like a second opinion on it. And I think that that's really important.
Question number 7 is, how does magic and witchcraft affect your everyday life?
We kind of already talked about it, you know, it gives me a second to think about the world around me. It allows me to connect with myself. It really makes me want to better understand situations. So if I'm, you know, having a bad day at work or something, and, you know, someone comes in, I have a bad transaction with another human, witchcraft has taught me patience. So it makes me take a step back, and it makes me say, okay, why did this transaction happen? Was it me or was it someone else? What energy was flowing during that time? And how can I redirect that energy? And how can I change it? And how can I manipulate it into something that is beneficial for me and the people around me? Very small experiences like that are really, really what, for me, witchcraft boils down to. It boils down to this conscious choice of changing the energy and changing the way that the rest of your day unfolds, and changing and manifesting what it is that you want to see, regardless of how the circumstances are coming about.
Question number 8 is, what is one thing you wish you knew when first starting out, and what advice can you give to new baby witchlings?
One thing I wish I knew starting out, I wish I had someone to just stop me and say, Ashley, it's okay to practice. Like, not just to practice, but it's okay to call yourself a witch. I think that I had a lot of hang-ups on the word witch, and rightly so. Growing up in a predominantly Christian or Abrahamic religion area, the word witch is definitely villainized and demonized, and there's nothing that we can really do at this point with the past to help that. The only thing that we can do is kind of move forward and try to rehumanize it, I guess. And I think that a lot of people go into certain branches of witchcraft or into certain subjects of witchcraft with this intense love for these things, but then they want to deny themselves the term witch because, number one, maybe they feel that they aren't a witch. Like, oh no, I'm not a witch. I couldn't do this, or I couldn't do that. When you can, you are. Like, you're doing the thing. You're doing the work, so why not take the reward of that beauty and freedom? Maybe they just don't like it because of the word and just the social connotations that we've put on it. I think that if someone had kind of sat me down and been like, listen, you already do witchcraft. Like, what you're doing and what you've been doing since, like, you were a kid, that is all witchcraft. Like, it's okay to call yourself a witch. It's okay to practice instead of just research and longingly look at, you know, everything that you're looking at. It's okay. If someone had come and told me that, I would have broke down crying, and I would have just been like, okay. And I would have tried. I would have tried sooner. I would have tried harder. I would have really come into my own easier, sooner, definitely. I don't want to say I'm glad that that's not what happened, right? Because I would have loved for that to have happened. But I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've been given, and I'm grateful for not having been given that time and space so quickly, because it has made me appreciate my craft immensely now. It's okay to practice. It's okay to call yourself a witch. It's okay to start. You have to start somewhere, and everyone has to start somewhere, and you can't let intimidation or fear of a thing stop you from doing it.
And lastly, question number 9 is, what is an interesting fact about you and your craft that your viewers may not know about you? And is there anything else you would like to share on Witch to Watch?
It's not necessarily something that I've talked about on the channel, but something that I want to get into a little bit more. Sensual witchcraft, if you catch my drift. Sensual magic, things like that interest me very much. And that was what it originally brought me to magic. I think when I was a teenager, and it was something that I was very intrigued but scared by because I have a high drive, and that scared me, and I kind of came to this conclusion or realization that, okay, maybe we can use this excess energy to bring about change and to manifest things. Like that was kind of the first connection that I made with witchcraft and magic. And so I don't think I've ever talked about that on the channel, on my channel. So there you go. Maybe. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Thank you so much, Azura, for having me here on Witch to Watch. I think that it's a lovely series. I'm so excited, so proud to be a part of it. And I hope that you and all your lovely beings have a beautiful, beautiful night wherever it is, wherever you are. Bye.
That is all we have for you for this episode in Witch to Watch featuring Ashley Michelle. Thank you so much for being a part of the show and part of the series. I absolutely adore you as personal friend and also as a member of our community here in the witchy community. We are so lucky to have you, and you do so much for us that some of us might not even know about, and I just wanted to shine the spotlight on you for all the hard work that you do and all that you contribute to making our community absolutely magical. You guys are interested in checking out Ashley Michelle and getting to know a little bit more about her, all of her information, her links, her social media, wow, that was a whistle, her content, the videos she mentioned, as well as some other places you can find her here online will all be linked down below for you to find if you are interested in getting to know more about Ashley. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Witch to Watch. Don't forget to leave your witches that you want to see on Witch to Watch in the future in the comments down below and what you liked most about today's episode. But until next time, stay geeky, chica, and freaky, little hatchlings. Do. But until next time, blessed be and bye, darlings.
There's a reason why we